Okay, lastly, I had a whole assortment of PSE classes. Very odd. You got fourth years being taught about drugs, and third years being taught about drugs. You had this expert come in, I had to babysit. This expert talked about the drugs, what they look like, not how much they cost, but what they look like and how to take them. All these different kinds of drugs, uppers, downers, and all-arounders. I'm sitting there going, what? And then, of course, I had the first years, and I had to put a tape in, and they watched it, and it was about sex. Did I know the kids? No. First years. I mean, they're all sitting there pre-pubescent, and they're all just looking at the stuff and kind of giggling and laughing, and it's just like, I'm the only guy there, you know, the only adult there. Surely you should have a male and female up there kind of presenting this kind of material or something. I don't know. I don't mind being one of them, but it's just so odd. It's just so odd. School is such an odd place, man. And then an extra little thing. I had some other cover classes to do, which were kind of fun. And there was this one last period, period 6, history, up in a corner of the building. And we had such a good time. We had such a good time. And they did a lot of work as well. And it was about the war. Oh my God. But I have a tendency to have lightness and fun. Therefore, when you have a topic which is maybe a bit serious and heavy, it's a bit tricky to introduce it. But we had stuff on the board. The teacher had written it on the board, had written a piece of paper, and it was loads of stuff. And I was like, ooh. So I interacted with it a bit, had a bit of a laugh, until eventually I was saying, well, what happens if we had an experiment that you organised it? Because I've looked at the beginning and said something about a pink book. I don't know what it is, but presumably you do. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to sort it out and see if you can do it. This is after about 10 minutes of negotiation, engaging, and so on and so forth. And a lot of them said, no, I can't do it. Some of them said yes. Eventually I had one girl, let me get her name right, Natalie, I think. And she stood up, she was on the edge of a chair, so she was saying yes. And I was like, okay. So I got her to speak for the whole class, although the whole class were saying we couldn't do it, most of them. But she said she could. So I said, okay. So I trusted her. And we said 3 minutes. So I said, go. And then she got up. She went to where she thought they were. They weren't there. And she went, where are the books? Where are the pink books? I was like, I don't know. You guys are self-organising. You've got another 2.5 minutes. And then somebody spotted the box right at the front. Okay, I hadn't spotted it. Somebody spotted it, and then they just distributed them. They all sat down, big chat talking, and started talking. Last period, period 5, on a Friday. Period 6, sorry, period 6, on a Friday. Amazing. And they got that, and they did that, and halfway through it I thought something interesting, and I wanted to share it with them. No, this is at the end, actually. So they did a lot of work, and that was good, you know. And I read a lot of material too, which is kind of interesting. And actually, I happened to look at the book, and I happened to see some pictures, and I thought something interesting. And I said, oh, okay, we're meant to maybe do something as a whole class or something, but I just thought something interesting. I was wondering if I could share that with you. And they were like, okay. We had about 7 minutes to go, so I got up, and I started talking, but they weren't really paying attention. So I tried a little bit more, and then I went, okay, no, never mind, sat down. Didn't put the thing down. They were like, what? I was like, well, look. And now I had all their attention. I said, how often do you find something interesting in class? I mean, I would love for somebody at the end, reading anything, and they have scrotes to read as well to write. If you find something interesting that occurs to you in your head, at the end of it, to tell the rest of the class, to tell me, I'd be interested. Do you see? How often, and they came surprised by this, I was like, so how often do teachers ask you to just say something that occurred to you, that you thought in the class about the material? And they were just like, never. I was like, oh. Isn't that sad? Second years. Isn't that sad? And the thing that I thought was interesting was they had all these like people, Hitler, 100,000 people in this stadium during the Nazis, whatever, during Germany 1930, 7 or 8 or something before the war. And they're all going, oh, and they're all doing this. And there was another one, all this crowd doing this. And their faces, their expression on their faces, and I've always got this idea they were kind of forced to do it, it's kind of propaganda, they were kind of like, they didn't really want to do it, but they kind of like, everybody else was doing it, and then, do you see? The Germans. But actually, if you look at those faces, they're all like, they're just like, wow. They're just like, they're really high. They're really high. They're really going, wow, this is exciting. This is exciting. Because, Germany is not doing very well, and then suddenly, obviously Hitler group, so on and so forth, whatever political party, they don't really know what's happening, but it's starting to happening well. Instead of food costing so much, it's actually things are starting to go well, and there's a reason to cooperate. And they're all doing things like this. And, which is a new thing. It's like, ooh, look, we can all do this, And we're all doing collectively, 100,000 of us. And then Hitler pops up, whoever it is, just somebody turns up, and oh, wow, and everybody's silent. And that kind of, and then he would say, and every time he said like a catchphrase, people call back, oh, victory, and da-da-da-da. And it's like a game show. It was like a game show. And it sounds a bit odd to say that, because there are many terrible things that happened, obviously, during the war, and they were duped a lot. However, the actual social participation and cohesion that occurred was phenomenal. 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 And there was a lot of cooperation and energy that came together. That sounds odd, but I think that could be done for world peace. And that's what I talked with the kids. I was just like, history is kind of interesting, but it's what kind of goes wrong quite often as opposed to what goes right. But we can learn elements from it in order as we go forward into the future. And we talked about it. I just interacted with a few kids. It was good. And the teacher at the end said it was very nice actually, because he had a similar class and he'd only been in school for 2.5 weeks and was the principal teacher. He said it was nice to see a teacher having such a good relationship with a bunch of kids. Never met these kids before. And I don't do the power thing. I don't do the authority thing. I do a kind of interact with them. It's unusual. I'm unusual.